All right, so today we are looking at our solving of our equations, but more specifically, we're looking at our two-step equations. This two-step equations is going to use all the fundamentals of our one-step equations, but instead of taking one step to solve, it's going to take, you guessed it too. So because we are solving, we are trying to undo. So we're going to go in, which we think of as reverse order of operations. So first you undo any addition or subtraction. That's always what we end up taking care of first, and then you are going to undo any multiplication or division. All right, so let's go to that very first problem that we've got here. I got negative 2x plus 6 equals 20. Now, as always, we start on the side with the variable, so we are going to start on the left-hand side. Remember, the equal sign is kind of like your boundary line. So we're going to undo any addition or subtraction. So the opposite, we're undoing an adding of a 6, we're going to subtract 6. So we do need to subtract 6 from both sides. So what is left on the left-hand side? That kind of sounds weird. Well, you can see 6 minus 6 is 0, so it's gone. So all we have is a negative 2x. We're going to bring down our equal sign, so we do need that. And again, notice we're writing on a straight line across here. And then 20 minus 6 is 14. Now we can undo any multiplication or division. So the opposite of multiplying by a negative 2 is to divide by a negative 2. So when we plug this in, we're going to end up with x equals and then negative 7. Again, a negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1. There's our solution, x equals negative 7. Now, our check step. We go back in and we're going to plug it in. So it's negative 2. It'd be times negative 7 plus 6 and then equals 20. Now, we just can't say, yeah, that's right. We need a little more evidence here. So order of operations says let's multiply first. So the question here is 14 plus 6, does that actually equal 20? It does. So we know we've got ourselves a correct answer. Let's skip over to question 2 here. So again, undo any addition or subtraction first. So the first thing you're going to do is add 10. And again, we do say to both sides, so we do need that. So when we do this, we're left with an x divided by a 3. We're going to bring down our equal sign. We do need that. And then negative 14 plus 10 does give us negative 4. So to undo division, we need multiplication. Again, once again, when you're showing your multiplication, either you put it directly off to the side, you can put it up in the numerator, you can write it as 3 over 1, but what you can't do is you can't put the times 3 in the denominator. So multiply this side by 3. So by doing this, the undoing, if you want to do the cross division, fine, you don't have to. We always know we're going to end up with x. And then negative 4 times 3 is a negative 12. So let's plug it in. And let's see what happens. Negative 12 divided by 3 minus 10, and we want that to equal negative 14. So negative 12 divided by 3, that is negative 4. Is negative 4 minus 10, does that equal negative 14? Yes, it does. Same sign, so you are going to add and keep the sign. Let's go to question number 3. This time we're going to start on the right-hand side because that's where the variable is at. So to undo the subtracting of the 20, we are going to add 20. And we're not just going to say add 20, we need to say add 20 to, and there's the phrase, both sides. So let's see what we've got. On the right-hand side, we have a negative 5c. We still need to bring down our equal sign. And 30 plus 20, hello, 50. So to undo a multiplying by negative 5, we are going to divide both sides by negative 5. Again, you want to hear the conversation, both sides. What are you doing to both sides? So here we just get a plain old c, because again, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 50 divided by negative 5 is negative 10, so we get negative 10 equals c. So let's do our check step here. Let's plug it on in. Does 30 equal negative 5 times negative 10? And then, oops, not plus 20, but that's going to be a minus 20. So thinking of your order of operations, negative 5 times negative 10 is, not 30, it is 50. So the question here is 50 minus 20. Does that equal 30? It absolutely does. Let's go on to the next one here. Again, we are going to start on the right-hand side because that's where the variable is at. So to undo the adding of the 8, we should be subtracting 18. I'm sorry, I said the 18 from both sides. So what do we have on our right-hand side? Well, all we should have is x divided by 5. Bring down your equal sign. Again, we want everyone to be lined up. We don't want to be all over the place. Negative 23 minus 18. We do have the same sign, so we are going to add, and we are going to keep the sign. To undo the dividing by a 5, we are going to multiply both sides by a 5. All right. And it's okay if you put it off to the left there. I know you're like, wait a second, shouldn't it come? Yeah, it's okay there. This is all right when we solve our equations. So this is going to knock each other out. So it's just an x. And we're left with 5 times negative 41. Negative number times a positive number, different sign, so it is negative. And 41 times 5 is 205. So it is an answer of negative 205. And again, this is why we need the solving equations techniques, because otherwise we're not going to do guess and check, and it's not an efficient method. So let's plug it on in. So does negative 23 equal negative 205 divided by 5 plus 18? So we've got to figure out how many times does 5 fit into 205. This works out nicely because 5 goes into 24 times, 5 goes into 5 1, so it is negative 41. Is negative 41 plus 18, does that actually equal negative 23? Yes, it does. We have different signs, so we're going to subtract. So 41 minus 18 is 23. We're going to keep the sign of the larger number. Again, when you do your check steps, it's one of those things of, you can just say, yep, that's right, yep, that works. But you got to make sure your numbers actually do match up. So if you have to do some work off to the side, that is fine. Let's go to question number 7. All right, let's skip on down. So which side are we going to start on? We should start on the right-hand side. Yeah, because that's where the variable is at. So what are we going to do first? Did you say add 20 to both sides? We are. So let's see what we've got. Let's clean things up. The only thing that's on the right-hand side is 8c. What's on the left-hand side? Well, what is negative 36 plus 20? Different signs, so we are going to subtract, but keep the sign of the larger number. All right, now to solve for c, what are we going to do here? You're going to divide both sides by 8 because this is a multiplication. To undo multiplication, we do division. So negative 16 divided by 8 is a negative 2, so negative 2 equals c is my answer. Let's plug it on in and see if it works. So does negative 36 equal 8 times negative 2 and then minus 20? Well, 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Is negative 16 minus 20, does that equal negative 36? It does. Same sign, so we'll add and we'll keep the sign. Let's go with one more, all right, to finish up. Left side or right side, where are we going to start? And you should say the right side. Why? Because that's where the variable is at. So to undo the adding of the 15, we are going to subtract 15 from both sides. So what do we have on the right-hand side? Well, on the right-hand side, we just have negative x over 9. And what's on the left-hand side? Well, 18 minus 15 is 3. So what's going on here? We're doing division. So to undo division, we need to do multiplication. But we're going to multiply both sides by a negative 9. Because, again, what's a negative times a negative? It is a positive, and it gives us a positive x. Now, if you'd like to, go ahead, put a 9 over 1 so you can see what's going on. But again, when we do these inverse operations, they're always going to knock each other out. And then so I need to multiply this side by negative 9. So did you say negative 27? So negative 27 equals x. Let's plug it on in just to make sure. 18 equals, and it's negative, and then negative 27 over 9, and then plus 15. So the double negative makes it a positive. So 27 divided by 9, hello, 3. So 3 plus 15, does that equal 18? It absolutely does. So again, a lot of this is the talking. It is telling yourself what you're going to do. And if we can't use that vocabulary and you're just kind of staring at it, that's where a lot of your frustration is at. So make sure we're saying to both sides. Make sure we're understanding why we are doing things to both sides.